Hello everyone, I'm Jack Fisher and welcome to my world. And excuse me if I sound out of breath, restless, or just plain giddy. I won't make excuses, but I won't apologize either. Because I just watched the finale from Miss Marvel and I am still beaming with excitement. I don't think I've fully processed the impact or the implications of the show just yet. I've also been following the reactions on social media. It has a lot of people talking for all the right reasons, except for a very specific fandom, but I'll get to that later. Right now, I just want to take a moment to share my initial reaction to the finale, and I also want to offer an overall review of the series. And if I'm not overly excited by the end, I'll even do a little speculating. It was already confirmed that Kamala Khan will be featured in The Marvels, the upcoming sequel to 2019's Captain Marvel. But believe me, after this finale, the implications go far beyond that movie. Now, before I go any further, I want to give a major spoiler warning. If you haven't yet seen the Miss Marvel finale, please pause this video and go watch it. Seriously, even if you haven't been following this show that closely, watch that last episode. The ending alone makes the whole show worth seeing. Having given that warning, I'll start with my initial reaction. But just in case I haven't made it obvious enough, I freaking loved it. And after seeing the final episode, I can make it official. Miss Marvel is my favorite Marvel show to date. Yes, it was a very different kind of show compared to Loki, WandaVision, and What If. But in terms of overall impact and the overall quality of the story, I feel like Miss Marvel really raised the bar. And while it all came together in the finale, the full extent of that story actually took some time to build up. Because even before the first episode aired, it was clear that Kamala Khan's story in the show would differ considerably from her story in the comics. It started with her powers, going from being a mesomorph to being able to conjure energy constructs. That was indeed a controversial change, even among Miss Marvel fans. But personally, I didn't think it was too big a deal. See my previous video on why I thought these changes were necessary to get a full understanding of that sentiment. But whatever the differences and controversies, this show was always going to face major challenges. Each show before this one was basically building off characters and stories that had been introduced in some form or another within previous MCU content. But Miss Marvel was basically building a new character out of this post-Endgame world, and crafting her hero's journey around it. The most important part of that journey was capturing the spirit, tone, and personal dynamics from the source material. Even if this version of Kamala Khan had different powers, she still had to feel like the same Kamala Khan that so many fell in love with within the comics. And through all 6 episodes, I think it's safe to say this show succeeded. Because all the major details and setups were there. It had Kamala being an Avengers superfan whose favorite hero is Captain Marvel. It had her sneaking out at one point, against her parents' wishes, to a major public event. And it had her discovering her powers in an unexpected way at that event, which ended up requiring her to save her first life in the process. From there, Kamala had to learn and grow into her powers. She also had to find her own superhero identity, something that took more than a few mishaps, just like the comics. But unlike the comics, she attracted a lot more unwanted attention. First from damage control, and then from the mysterious clandestines. Along the way, she meets Cameron, her first crush, who ends up turning on her later on. She attends her brother Amir's wedding, which the clandestines conveniently crash. She eventually travels to Karachi, where she reconnects with extended family, and learns more about the mysterious bangle bracelet that unlocked her powers. She also meets the Red Daggers, a secret society in Pakistan who've been fighting the clandestines for centuries. They even take the time to give her some training with her powers, something she didn't get much of in the comics. She also learns a lot more about her family history, which plays out beautifully and dramatically in episode 5. But overall, every single event, major or minor, every struggle, challenge, and setback, it all finally culminates with Kamala Khan becoming Miss Marvel. And when she finally does don that iconic costume, it's just so fitting and cathartic. You get the sense that this is what she was striving to become. But to become this hero, she had to learn and grow into it. She also had to accept some harsh truths and make difficult decisions, especially when it came to stopping the clandestines. But that's the mark of any aspiring hero. Getting superpowers and saving a few lives, that's just the beginning. And when Kamala eventually becomes that hero in the finale, it's not just the culmination of her journey. She has a real, tangible impact on the people and community around her. They all see what she does. They see her helping people without a shred of hesitation. And even when the authorities in Damage Control deem her dangerous, and even when Cameron turns against her after learning about the fate of his mother, Ms. Marvel still seeks to help people and save lives. She doesn't do it because she lost someone close to her. She doesn't do it out of guilt, revenge, or obligation. She does it because she chooses to. She does it because she was raised in a loving, supportive family that taught her the importance of doing good and helping others. Now, that may not sound like a novel concept given the vast diversity of the superhero genre, but at a time when so many heroes and villains are wrought with complicated motivations, there's just something so refreshing about a hero like Ms. Marvel. To me, it's a critical element of who Kamala Khan is as a character and as a hero. She's this teenage Pakistani girl in Jersey City, the kind of girl who never gets a chance to be a hero on the same level as the Avengers. But she's inspired by these heroes as well as her family. And when she does gain superpowers, she channels that inspiration into being the kind of hero who can inspire others. And that's exactly what she does. The sheer extent of that inspiration really shines in the finale. I won't spoil every detail, but if you've seen the first two Spider-Man movies, you'll appreciate just how inspirational Ms. Marvel is to all those around her. Now, if the series had ended there, with Kamala donning her new costume, adopting her new name, and becoming Jersey City's greatest hero, that still would have made this show a resounding success. But then, it dropped another bombshell that could have major repercussions for the future of the MCU. And it happened in her final scene with Bruno.
Kamala, there's something different in your genes. Like a mutation.
That's right. He really said it. He said the M word. The word Fox kept Marvel Studios from uttering for over a decade. And if that was enough, it played an all too familiar X-Men theme. When I first heard it, I honestly thought I was hallucinating. I even checked my phone, since that X-Men theme has been my ringtone for over 11 years now. But I rewatched it again and confirmed that it was real. The credits even cite it. That was the iconic 90s X-Men theme. And now mutation is officially, canonically, a thing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Kamala Khan might be the first character affected by it. Now, as both an X-Men fan and a Ms. Marvel fan, this is big. There's just no way to overstate that. It's also a huge change from the source material, which I'm sure will draw ire from certain fans. Because in the comics, Kamala Khan is an Inhuman. And she got her powers like all Inhumans do, by encountering the Terrigen Mists. At the time, that actually made sense. Marvel was just beginning its big push to prop up the Inhumans. Even though it did come at the cost of denigrating the X-Men, Ms. Marvel was just part of a larger plan at the time. However, that big Inhumans push didn't really work out. I've already covered how in a previous video, but rather than dwell on that convoluted mess, I just want to focus on the larger implications here. And maybe even do a little mindless speculating. Because if Kamala really is a mutant, and that bangle bracelet just unlocked her powers as Bruno hinted, then this could be the first official precursor to the arrival of mutants in the MCU. We all knew they were coming. It was formally announced years ago. But now, we have something on screen, and something that doesn't rely on multiverse shenanigans. As Ms. Marvel, Kamala Khan might be the character through which we learn about mutants. Even if this is just confirmation that they exist, we don't yet know the state they're in. It poses so many unanswered questions. Have mutants always been around in the MCU? If so, where are they? Where have they been all this time? Why weren't they recruited by S.H.I.E.L.D.? And why didn't they help out against Thanos, Ultron, or the Chitauri? Those are all relevant questions, but I don't think they'll be explored much in the Marvels. That's more likely to remain a cosmic-themed movie, just like Captain Marvel. Mutants still might be hinted at, especially if someone like Rogue shows up at some point. But I suspect mutants will be at the center of the next phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Kamala Khan might just be the one who reveals the when, why, and how of it all. If I had to guess, and right now this is just me speculating, I think Kamala will be the one who starts investigating mutants. In a future movie or TV show, she might believe there are more like her, but is confused when she can't find any. At most, she may only find rumors of a race of superpowered beings, born different and set apart from the rest of humanity. But even if they exist, nobody seems to be aware of them, or even remember them. Eventually, her curiosity gets the attention of someone who knows the truth. Maybe it's Professor X, maybe it's Magneto, but before Kamala can expose it, he, she, or they take her somewhere. Maybe it's to the Xavier Institute. Maybe it's to Genosha. Maybe it's to Krakoa. But wherever they take her, that's where mutants have been hiding. And they've been trying to stay hidden for a long time now. But with Kamala being a mutant and a popular superhero, maybe they feel like the time is right for them to come out. That could all play out in a future X-Men movie, or even a second season of Ms. Marvel. But whatever happens, I couldn't be more excited for her future and the MCU as a whole. This show was truly something special. I'd been so excited to see this character that I fell in love with through the comics come to life. And I admit a part of me was still nervous about this show, especially with some of the major changes to her power and backstory. But overall, after seeing every episode and taking in the totality of the story, I couldn't be more thrilled. Ms. Marvel is a delightful show by every measure. The characters are lovable, the story is compelling and heartfelt, and it brings to life a character who will likely play a big role in the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So, to Kevin Feige, Iman Vellani, and all those involved in Ms. Marvel, I sincerely thank you. I was already a fan of Kamala Khan before this show, and now my love for the character has been truly embiggened. Thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks for joining me in my world. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, take care and stay safe.